Hello, my name is Rowan. Today I'm going to read you Ivory Tower Blues by Penny Tales. This is a young adult story about finding your feet in adulthood and about the ways the internet can help or hinder us in that. So without further ado, let's begin. Once upon a time, and the time was now, there lived a girl called Gemma. Her life was a soft summer's day, and she had never encountered hardship, pain, or loss. She had finished university and was back home looking for a job. Her grandmother kept telling her, "The world is your oyster now." Gemma was searching for her pearl. In the meantime, she had only received some unwanted stones of rejection. Gemma was trying to stay positive, but a lack of experience in overcoming disappointment was hampering her efforts. Still, she was not alone. Her friends from university and school were in the same boat, all hunting for the shell-containing treasure. They compared notes via social media, sustaining each other with amusing photos, clever captions, blogs, and a raft of data that could be dispatched by a gentle tapping of a few keys. They felt secure in the knowledge that they were connected with one another. Gemma loved her bedroom. It was on the top floor of the house, with walls painted a cool ivory white. The desk with her laptop on it was by the window overlooking the back garden. She spent most of her time up there. Her parents had tried to get her to use the downstairs computer to search for jobs, but Gemma preferred her laptop in her own room. She had begun her quest with great optimism. She had just finished a degree in journalism and was ready to take on the world. She would be a seeker of truth, a champion for all the silent voices waiting to be heard. The problem was that out of the 5 interviews she had been to, no one was looking for someone to tackle those things. Gemma spent many hours in her room. To distract herself from what was becoming a tedious task, she started to investigate job opportunities abroad, but most of those necessitated you paying them and not the other way round, and her parents were adamant that they would not finance this. The pearl was becoming more elusive with each passing day. More hours were spent online checking out how her friends were getting on. Happy, smiling faces danced across the screen. There was Charlotte, whitewater rafting in Canada. Next on the screen was Josh, ecstatic about his new job in marketing. Karen, her old friend from school, had posted pictures of her and Phil looking radiant cutting their wedding cake. Gemma tried to feel happy for them, but even in this she was unsuccessful. She was spending more and more time up in her room. Her parents tried to get her to come out, tempting her with shopping trips and meals out, but Gemma was not to be persuaded. She was bound to her computer. In the time spent not job seeking, she was tormented with the fulfilled lives that all her friends appeared to be living. From time to time she would gaze out of her bedroom window. The garden below seemed as remote as an alternative universe. Life was happening outside, but she was not part of it. Her world was contained within her 4 ivory-painted walls. One morning, Gemma woke up, went downstairs to fetch her morning tea and toast, and went back to her room. As usual, she went to log in straight away, only to be informed that she was not connected to the internet. Puzzled, she padded downstairs to use the main computer in the sitting room. That wasn't working either. Mum was in the kitchen drinking her tea while reading the paper. "I'll phone up this morning and find out what's wrong," she informed Gemma calmly. But, but, began Gemma, "how am I going to get a job if I can't use the internet?" Why don't you take the day off? Go into town, see some friends," suggested Mum, looking at Gemma with some concern. "You haven't been out for ages." Gemma didn't have a choice. With no internet, she was at something of a loose end. It had been a long time since she'd actually seen any of her friends. She reached for her mobile with trepidation. She tried Charlotte first, almost dreading to hear her perennially upbeat voice. Charlotte did not sound like Charlotte. "Can't talk for long," she informed Gemma in an unfamiliar, subdued-sounding voice. "Gotta go to work in a minute." "Where are you working?" There had been nothing on Facebook about a job, just the carefree photos of Charlotte from her recent holiday in Canada. "I got a temporary job childminding for one of Mum's friends," said Charlotte. "Just till I find a permanent job. It's exhausting," she added. "I had no idea children could be so tiring. How about you? I bet you've landed a really good job." "No, still looking," said Gemma, relieved to be saying it out loud. After a few more minutes of catching up, they agreed to meet Friday evening for a proper chat. Gemma felt less isolated than she had for ages. Next, she rang Josh. He answered in a whisper. "Sorry," he hissed into the phone. "We're not allowed to take private calls in work time. We get told off. It's worse than primary school. I'll phone you tonight and tell you all about it." Gemma glanced out of her bedroom window. The wind rustled through trees, sweeping dying leaves to their final destination. Birds patterned the sky, readying themselves for the long flight south. Silver-spun clouds changed shape as they skimmed across a pastel sky. Gemma felt something shift. Instead of picking up the phone to call Karen, who'd been her best friend since primary school, Gemma decided to go round and see her. She knew Karen was still looking for a job, and she hadn't seen her since her wedding over a month ago now. She put on her coat and headed out the door. The cold early winter air felt strange and exhilarating as she strode down the street with a new sense of purpose. Gemma tried to hide her shock when Karen answered the front door. Her usually immaculately groomed friend stood there in pajamas, with her hair in tangles. Her opening greeting of, "Hi, how's married life?" died on her lips as she followed Karen through to the sitting room. 2 hours later, Gemma and Karen stood on the doorstep saying goodbye. They both felt better. Karen's problems with married life, now they'd been talked over with her best friend, had turned out to be solvable, and Gemma remembered how nice it was to have a friend she could talk and listen to. As she continued walking into town, Gemma pondered all the pictures and comments she'd viewed on social media. She'd almost begun to feel jealous of her friends. The lives they appeared to be living and the lives they were actually living were not the same. She was still thinking about this when she spotted a job vacancy sign in the window of the town's only bookshop. "I wonder," thought Gemma to herself, as she entered the bookshop and headed for the desk. We upload a new story every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to us, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye.